Hey guys, it's late. It's actually almost bedtime, but I need to get this done and I have been putting it off because I want to make a video when I do it, and so I'm going to do it right now. I am ready to do 4 more weeks of lesson planning, and I've been wanting to share how I do it. So the first thing I've shared before that I use are these right here. This is a new thing this year. If you can see, I'll see if I can share it with you there, where it's from. I actually got it for free on an Instagram post. I just had to give her my email, and I got it sent to my email for free, but I think now she charges like $4. I only print out one. I print out the blank one, so there's nothing here. She also makes one where the subject's already in there, and then she also has a notes page. And if I can find it somewhere, she also has a page of books you've read. So I think there's a total of maybe 5 or 6 pages that you get with the PDF bundle that you can purchase. But I have been using these this year. In the years past, I've actually been doing something similar to this. I've just been writing it out on a piece of paper. But I love this because so basically what I do is I go through all of my books. I've got sitting here, like I've got my Oak Meadow 2 here. I've got my Oak Meadow 4 here. This is 17 that we're on right now. I've got my science over here that we do. And what I will do is I will start by filling out these sheets. I'll put the week down. And then I'll write down the subjects that I use, write down what they're reading, write down the weekly and daily things that they do, and then I'll just go week to week filling it out. And I will have 8 of these because I have 2 students right now. And then the week of, I'll transfer what this page says onto my agenda for the week. So I'm going to try to move this camera down so you can kind of see me filling it out. All right, so I'm going to do an example here. I have a blank sheet, just like this. I'm going to be doing week 18, so I'm going to write 18 here, just like that. I'm going to leave this open because sometimes we start on a Tuesday, sometimes we take 2 weeks to do a lesson, so I leave this open until the day we start doing week 18. So I'm going to be doing 2nd grade with this one really quickly. Now the only daily checklist I have for 2nd grade is reading, and she does it on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So what I'm going to write is read aloud, and then I'm going to mark out 2 of these for Wednesday and Friday, or for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All right, now I'm not sure what the reading is going to be because we're going to be starting a new book next week, and I'm not quite sure what exactly we're going to read now. She has already gone through all of the Oak Meadow readers and everything like that, so I need to come up with something new. But what I'll do first, since I'm going to leave this blank since I'm not sure, is I'm going to add my subjects to these lines. So I always add social studies at the top for both of my Oak Meadow students because social studies seems to be a big bulk of what they do, especially in the younger years where everything is about your community. Then I do science, math, art/PE. Now obviously in Oak Meadow we do a lot of art projects, but this is like extra. Language arts, which is where I also put my grammar English. So it looks like this. Okay, and so then what I'll do is I'll go to the week in my book right here. Alright, so I'm going to go to 18 here. And like I've said before, I don't do everything that's in here. We just use it as our base. So I'll look over here where it says for language arts. It says continuing poetry with your child, reading Voyages of Dr. Dolittle, reading from a printed reader, poems and paragraphs about the story. So we're still doing poetry. So we've been doing poetry. Oh, it says they need to be mastered by 20. So that means we have 3 more weeks of poetry. So for my language arts down here, it's mostly going to be main lesson book work, right? And I'm going to fill that in right now. Okay, so I just want to share that from what I took from this book, I went ahead and wrote it right here. I've got poem in your main lesson book, poem in your main lesson book, and paragraph in main lesson book. Now you don't need to write it out how many times you're going to do it, but I do it this way so I know, okay, I need to have 2 days of poetry. And then these little squares here, when we do it, I will check it off so I know. So that way as the week goes on, I can be like, okay, I still need to do so many more things. So now that I'm done with language arts, I would go to math. I don't use math in Oak Meadow, so I'm going to skip math. Go to social studies. Now for social studies in 2nd grade, if you can see it here, it says a calendar page. So up here in social studies, I'm going to write a calendar page for the week. Just like that right there. Got the calendar page. And as of right now, that's the only thing up there for social studies. Now throughout the week, if they get really interested in something, or if she likes to do something with her sister, I'll just add it in as the week goes on. But this is what is for this week in her main lesson book. Okay, for her science, it's about building webs. Oh, I love doing this, making this God's eye thing. So it's going to be a craft. Now, I personally don't put this in the art category because, like I said, Oak Meadow is full of crafts, so it would just be full of art all the time. But I am going to put this in her science. So we're going to make a spider web in her science. So up here, I'm going to write God's eye spider web craft, just like that. And then we also do another science curriculum where we read and do experiments 2 to 3 times a week. So since it's not in the Oak Meadow book, I'm going to wait and do the rest of that science at the end. And then if you've got an older curriculum, you know that 2nd grade is still very gentle. So if you see here, art is also the calendar page, music is recorder, and crafts is clay fun. So their art is also considered part of the calendar, and their music is the recorder. Now we don't do the recorder, we do the piano or the guitar, something like that. So what I would do here for art PE is if it is a bowling week and we're going to go to bowling, I'll write bowling. If we're going to go to one of the indoor playgrounds, or if we're going to do homeschool rock climbing, I'll write that down for that week. If we're going to go do one of our art classes in a neighboring town with other fellow homeschoolers, I will do that in here. So this is really extracurricular. So this is what it looks like right now with just the Oak Meadow 2. Now obviously it's very, very sparse because Oak Meadow is very, very gentle. If you were to look at my 4th graders, it would not look like this. It would be a lot more filled out. So we'll do that in a little bit. Okay guys, so I finished my 2nd graders. As you can see, I added the math lesson that we're going to be doing that week. And as the week goes on, I'll add what pages we do, our science lessons, and then this is what we're reading aloud right now at night, and then I'll add whatever we're going to be reading, what else throughout the week. It looks pretty blank here, but we will be adding more things as it goes along. And since I don't have any dates on this, it'll be really easy for me when I go to my agenda to plug this in where it needs to be in accordance to how my 4th grader's schedule looks that week. So now we're going to do 4th grade. So again, I've got a blank sheet here, and I'm going to be writing in all of the subjects. Social studies. Same ones over here. Now what I'm going to do over here is a little different. In 4th grade, they're supposed to write in their journal every day. They're supposed to read aloud every day. So I put these here, and I don't need to mark out any dates. I just put them right here. So that's what I'm going to do next. Read aloud. I know also they can read silently, so I use that in the same area. It's just about them reading 30 minutes a day, right? So whether they read aloud or read silently, that's where that marking goes. Their daily journal. And that way I know I can just mark that little X there and know that they've done it for the day. Up here in the reading log, I put down what we're reading, what they're reading, which for week 18, she'll be finishing the Treasury for Children book. I'm going to pull out lesson 18 right here. This is a 2010 version, I believe, of Oak Meadow 4. And so I'm just going to go right through. And there's a lot more, like I said earlier, once you get to 4th grade. So what I'll start with is this social studies. And I'll kind of go through it and look to see what the subjects are. So usually it'll say it like, oh, answer these questions, right? So maybe I'll say something about you need to answer colonial history questions for one of the days. Now, it also says like for the next couple of months we'll be doing this, and so I know I can split it up, or if we don't get everything done this week, I can add it to one of the lines in the next week, right? I'm learning that you don't have to get everything done that week. And with the added spaces, I can always just write something in the next week that we don't get done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do exactly like I did for my 2nd grader. And I'm going to go through language arts and write down the practices there. So like for this, it's very easy because for language arts it says 1, 2, 3. So I can split that up into 3 days. Or I can do it in less than 3 days, but I'm just going to write down that there are 3 different practices for subjects and predicate. Science, it's also what we're reading, but then we're going to choose one of these projects. So I will just write science project because she will make that decision. We don't do their math, and we sometimes do the art here if it's really interesting because she's an artsy kid. So I will do all that and I will show you how it looks when I am finished. Okay, so I finished the 4th grade page here. So I'll just go through it really quickly. We've got colonial history questions, which were about 4 questions that needed to be filled out after visiting the library or reading, I think, the story that was in the book. And then a colonial craft that they get to pick out of a few that are in the back. So both of these things will be going on throughout the whole week. She probably won't finish the craft in one day, and we'll be going to the library one day, and then we'll be answering the questions throughout the week. So these are 2 things that will be multiple days. For science, there's a science project. And then there's also lesson 24 and lesson 25. So this will be all week as well. She's gonna start lesson 15. If it's too easy and she moves up to lesson 16 as well, I'll just also add 16 to that. We're gonna be going to indoor gym, and then spelling, and then subject and predicate review, and then I just write 3 times over here because there's 3 projects that they can do with that, so I'll fit that in throughout the week. Spelling, we do casually. We do words that maybe she uses a lot or that we notice are misspelled a lot in her journal entries, or we use the thing in the back of the book where it says that there are the 500 most used words. So we do that, and then when I decide what the words are, I write them right over here on the side. And when she gets them right, she no longer has to practice them, and then she verbally answers, little quizzes throughout the day, and it's just very casual like that. If she needs to write it out in her main lesson book and practice with it, then she does that as well. So this is all what it looks like then for the week. And like I said, what I will do is I will take both of these that are completely filled out that Sunday night, the Sunday before this starts, and I will put it in my agenda over here. Let's find an open spot here. So like I would come over there and I would put it in here, and I would get the chance to sit and look at these and kind of figure out where things go the best. So if this is really heavy in one thing that she can do herself, I will mix that with things that she might need help with, so that way I'm not trying to do 2 full lessons at the same time. I don't put it in my agenda until the Sunday before. I do look at this, especially if I know that I need to go buy something. I'll put like a little note like go buy clay or go get paint or go get Coke and Mentos or whatever, especially with the science that we use. It has experiments, so I'll actually write out what I need to get for those experiments. but I just leave these alone for the whole month that I fill out until that Sunday before, and then I look at that week's and I put it in my binder, put it in my agenda. So I've got these already filled out for the next month, and I just pull out the one for that week on Sunday, and then I'll keep it and I'll mark it off as we go along, and it also lets me know what I need to add to the next month. So this is what I do. I've got a huge stack of them here that I've done this year. I really like it. Also, something I do is I'll mark off the days as we get them done. Have the date on the top, and it's just a really nice way to keep everything organized and put together. And then I'll put it in my agenda, and I'll also like to put like how many days we did, because I keep track of the amount of days and everything in my agenda. I hope that you guys enjoyed that, and I will talk to you soon.